M&M's.
Let's do it.
And I'm pressing my button.
Cool. Yep. Last one of the year. Just waiting for the official run from YouTube. And Ryan, we're getting thumbs up. So I assume that means that we're up and running. And in fact, on my laptop, which I have right here, in case I need backup for other things, I could see that we are up and running. And hello, everyone. Welcome to tomorrow, the final episode of 2022. Happy New Year's Eve to you, if it's late where you are, or if you're like on the other side of the planet. And happy New Year's Eve if you are where we are. So super glad to have you all here today. I'm Jared. That's Ryan. Look, I can point correctly. And we are going to be talking a little bit about all of the awesome things that happened this year, because 2022, I feel like, for me at least, in my lifetime, this has been like the best year for space in terms of like awesome stuff that has happened. So I'm just going to throw that out there. And of course, everybody's coming in. I like this from Steven. Did they actually start at 8? Yes, we did. So you're welcome. Robert, hey, good to...
The eyes are not deceiving you.
Yes. Robert, good to hear from you. 11 a.m. in Australia on the Gold Coast for New Year's. Well, happy early New Year's to you. Also, Kylie Williams, happy New Year's Eve from Sydney. Yep, you guys are going to get it. Marty Martian letting us know New Year's Eve in Oz in New Zealand. And then Harry. Hey, Harry. Hey, gang. How you doing, Harry? Good to have you with us here on tomorrow. So kind of I'm expecting tonight's show to be kind of very chatty, very conversational, a lot less pretty pictures or other stuff like that. We really I like this one from Nick. It looks like Ryan has been on the same couch for a week. So how do you know? It might very well have been on the same couch for a week. If you are a member and you were on the members only stream last week, you'll know that we had a absolutely hilarious, I would like doubled over in pain laughing members only stream last week. So if you would like to become a member, as I throw that out there, youtube.com/TMRO/join. And if you join up, you literally get to just come right into the members only stream immediately. As Kylie Williams is noting, Cat Ryan, absolutely. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we will, I'll post, I have a screenshot of it, so I'll post it to my Twitter account, my Twitter and my Mastodon a little bit later today. So David saying, hello, space nerds, and hello, David. Is Robert saying tomorrow's a little meow meow with it there. So, so we definitely want you all to join the conversation with us today, because we want to know what were some of your favorite space moments of 2022. What were some of the moments that you thought were epic? What were some of the moments that you were, maybe you just were you're over it, about something like that. Gotta just, tell us what's up. And man, we still got people coming in. Dragon saying hello. And, of course, Loopy, Cowdy, as we got it. Cowdy to you, too, Loopy. Glad to have you aboard with us over this, and enjoying my time in orbit right now on 204. So, Ryan, how about we start with you? What were some of the awesome things that you thoroughly enjoyed this year?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to say, if you want to put your favorite moments in chat as we move... Excuse me. If you want to put your favorite moments in chat as we move along, we could probably do a poll thing at the end, and the ultimate best moments of the year off in space. But personally, I think Artemis I and SLS finally getting off the ground after how many decades is the pinnacle moment of the year. It was the launch of the year, whether you support the SLS program or not. It was a pretty epic launch, and I think it was well worth the wait in the end.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. In its many forms, as I have seen the Space Launch System throughout my lifetime, that was absolutely amazing watching that. There's still some of that energy kind of flowing through me with it, and it was one of those where it was one of those launches where my friends who weren't even like my friends who aren't spaceflight nerds were well aware of it and talking about it because they were like, "Oh, it's so cool." So Robert jumping on board saying, "Yes, I still can't believe it flew." Yeah, but I mean, when they do it, everything. I like how Loopy is racing this year. Loopy's saying, I mean, it's hard to top SLS. She dominated the year between the wet dress rehearsals and everything. She was pretty much on the pad for half the year.
I mean, that's pretty accurate. That's a good accurate.
Yeah, that is a good one. And then Arvale here coming in for it, which is my favorite moments we're watching tomorrow on Friday nights. Oh, that's great. That's very nice of you, Arvale. We appreciate it. So, but yeah, Space Launch System, seeing that and seeing Artemis I finally do its thing, and everybody just kind of felt like everybody kind of calmed down for a couple weeks there and just took it in and enjoyed it. And that was really nice. That was a couple weeks where we were all kind of flying around the moon on that there, and that's what I love about spaceflight is that it's such a uniting thing. You know, when I will always say one of my favorite things about working up at Griffith Observatory is that every day I'm there, I can hear 10-15 different languages being spoken because space is something that's universal and it touches us all. So yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh, Harry, definitely. I'm agreeing with that, which is that I wish it was a daytime launch, but I'm grateful it got to fly. Although if you think about it, it kind of did make it a daytime launch for a couple minutes there with the big solids.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm kind of running through everything with this. So yeah. Just our chat room's lighting up, and I'm so happy from all of you jumping in to say your things, say your piece, if you will. Yeah. So this one, obviously big for me, from Larry DeMarch, which is the images from James Webb. So yeah, seeing JW, really actually do what it's supposed to do finally, and do
its job and do it epically.
Yes, and do it perfectly as well. So that was the big thing. I was always told by people online how big a screw up it was going to be, but didn't happen because got some good people working on that. Also, Robert pointing out that it's been over a year now since J-Dub was launched. Holy moly. So, whew, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Feels just like yesterday.
Yeah. And David, thank you so much for the super chat saying character appearing from behind the cloud. Woo-ha! Very nice. Oh, I think that's what the super chat is.
Yes, that's the animated emoji. That's how YouTube sends it to
us. Thank you, David. I really appreciate it. It's so good. And as Robert saying, J-Dub got past the 31 or 344 single points of failure. Yeah. And then David saying, it has to be J-Dub with that there. Loopy noting very correctly that 2022 is also the year of 6-pointed flares in space imagery. So yeah, that was really, really, really cool with that, getting all the explanations with it, seeing J-Dub align its mirrors and then finally get in the commissioning phase and then work with something like that. It was really, really cool. Kylie Williams, I see where you're going, Ryan. You want to talk about that?
Yep. So Kylie said that NASA launching sounding rockets from the Aussie Outback Arnhem Space Center, it wasn't huge on the scale of things, that's correct, but it was exciting for Kylie because she's in Australia. So I'm going to kind of lean into the whole Virgin Orbit, Cosmic Girl, Start Me Up launching thing that would have been really cool to see this year. But even though the license has been licensed, what's the word? Approved. It didn't happen. But hey, hopefully, the start of next year is when everything will come together, and the air launch from the 747 will actually finally happen after it's been imminent since September.
Is that technically going to be the first orbital launch from the UK?
Yes.
Nice.
On technicality, yes, because it flies out of the UK.
I don't care about technicalities. If it's flying out of the UK, did it take off from the UK?
Yes.
There you go.
Well,
that's all I need to hear. So I'm tired of technicalities. I don't care about technicalities anymore. So somebody on Twitter, when I was like, oh my gosh, they just called TLI. Like, this is the first time, during Artemis I, I was like, this is the first time in my life there's ever been a translunar injection for a spacecraft that will carry people. And somebody was like, well, it's not carrying people right now. And I was just, I don't care. It's so awesome. Stop with your technicalities. Just enjoy things with it. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what's going to be going.
And thanks, Robert, for this quick update. I have just pushed that by a week, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, we do need to work on that real quick at some point. And then, yeah, as Marty's pointing out here, that a 747 is a legit first stage, or would the 747 technically, engineeringly speaking, be a stage 0? I'm not sure, actually.
Well, my opinion is that air launch is a semi-reusable system because you still have ground support equipment on the ground. So the aircraft is kind of like a mishmash between a first stage and GSE. So it does some GSE, but it also serves some of the purpose that a traditional first stage would, because it gets the rocket up to 30,000 feet. So it does a good portion of the heavy lifting, which is actually getting it off the ground. But it also has the facilities that traditionally you'd see in normal GSE systems. But there's also normal GSE on the ground. So it's a bit of a mishmash, I think, with air launch. It is semi-reusable, but it's not a true first stage.
Yeah, and as Harry Stranger is saying in the chat room, which is Rock looks around the corner. So Strata launches airplane peeking very quietly from around the corner with that there. I very much like that. So a lot of you are mentioning SpaceX, but we're going to get to that. We're going to talk about other things before we get to that, because that is a massive achievement, and I think we could talk about that. We need to highlight that way later, just because that is like something of its own thing with that there. So, and I like everybody in the chat room is like, yeah, what Ryan said. So yeah, and Jedi Master says it's a rocket launching from the UK. I'll take that. And you know what, everybody, you know what? You take it. It's yours. Have it. Enjoy it. Good. It's good stuff, right? So
yeah,
I just won't mention Long Beach building it or anything like it. Anyways,
wow. I'm just gonna say, maybe we'll start building them too.
That would be pretty cool. That would be
cool.
Yeah, that would be very, very neat. We'll have to see.
And I'll also add that Cosmic Girl came from Virgin Atlantic, which, I don't know if you noticed, promotes itself as Britain's flag carrier.
Really? They promote themselves as the flag carrier. What about British Airways?
They are called the flag carrier.
Well, they're called the flag carrier. So they're not
British
actually
Airways is the flag carrier, but Virgin Atlantic call themselves the flag carrier.
Nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Well, as Robert is pointing out, Virgin is owned by Richard Branson, who is British, and then Loopy. This is really funny, which is it was built in Long Beach with money from a British billionaire. So question marks. And then Arvale has a really good point, which is it's launching from UK controlled waters, so it still counts.
Yeah, and it will also be launching in UK controlled airspace, which is probably the bigger factor.
Yeah. Nick Shear is actually asking a question, which is, aren't there plans to ground launch an orbital rocket? And I believe that is something that is going to be happening.
Skyrora is planning, well, Skyrora say they're going to do the first vertical launch in 2023, and Orbex say they're going to do the first vertical orbital launch in 2023, both from Scotland, one in Sutherland and one in Shetland. So it depends which, if they both think they're going to be the first, so we'll just have to wait and see who is actually going to be first. But from the progress being seen currently at Shetland, they've been promoting it very, very well on their Twitter. They're doing a lot of work very quickly. So if they can get the licenses through as quickly, which we've just seen what happens with Virgin Orbit, but if they can get that through very quickly, then we could be seeing Skyrora take that victory. However, if Sutherland and Orbex pick up the pace, then they could also take it.
Now that is so cool, because there's like this fledgling industry happening right before your very eyes. So that's exciting. You guys are, I guess I would describe it as sort of like here in the United States when SpaceX was getting to go into, it's Falcon 1 era, if you will, with it. So
we're just a decade and a bit behind. That's all.
You know what? Who cares? If you're getting into the game, you're getting into the game. Go for it. Make whatever you need to do, make it work. That's all I got to say about it. As Jedi Master is saying here, road trip, Ryan, Cornwall to Scotland. What do you think?
Hopefully not. That's quite long. Go on fast.
You sure? Because I've done rocket road trips before.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I don't want to go from Cornwall all the way up to Scotland and then over to Shetland, because that's a ferry as well.
Oh,
I don't want Virgin to launch and then a couple of days later, Skyrora suddenly announces they're ready to go on the pad. That would not be convenient at all.
That'd be pretty funny. All right, thank you, David, for upgrading your membership as well. We definitely appreciate it. Woohoo! With it, and then Loopy's pointing out that you can take the train, and that sounds fun. And you can take photos of the train. And
I would also point out to Loopy that trains don't really do well on water.
You sure about that? Well, here in the United States, we're rather prolific at accidentally dumping trains into rivers. So, there was supposed to be a joke there. That was one of those where it sounded good in my head, and then I said it, and it wasn't. But I was also like, you know what? I said it, so who cares? Yeah, as Adam is pointing out here, what is that? Like 800 kilometers? That's San Francisco to LA. So yeah, what's your beef? Like I've done that drive many a time. So, which is why I fly now for it. So.
Prime example.
Ooh, Johnny Cheese is throwing out, if a rocket launches from a Commonwealth country, does that still count as a UK launch? I'm assuming that's talking about the Aussie sounding rockets. I'm dumb American here, assuming that. So
the Commonwealth is just a group of countries that has the king as the head of state. So they're not British. I think they're all former British Empire colonies, but they are not Britain. They are their own independent countries. So yeah, so launching from Australia, which is in the Commonwealth, it's an Australian launch. Well, if you're launching from New Zealand, that's the New Zealand launch.
Yeah. With an American rocket with an American company. Welcome.
I see a trend here.
Welcome to ITAR. Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of the way it goes. Larry King has a good one here, which is a really good, I think a good one to talk about, because this is also, there was a lot of finally happening this year.
Yeah.
I guess if I were to describe 2022, it would be like the space payoff, or whatever you want to call it.
Everything that they said was going to happen in 2016 and 17 happened in 2022.
Ryan, you're not wrong.
No, that's
you're
the
not.
thing.
So Larry
It's
King,
accurate.
Larry King saying that Starliner's successful mission, and I got to say that was definitely really, really awesome to see that happening. So I'm super pumped for them to do their crew test flight next year, and and I say next year like it's far and away, So I keep forgetting that next year is like almost less than a day away. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. I did enjoy watching that, during the docking and coming up with that. So, Stephen Thompson is now asking, so what were they promising in 2018 or so? Is that going to be what happens next year with that? So.
No, 2018, Elon said in 2016 that 2018 was going to be like the first flight attempt of Starship, right? Which was then BFR or whatever it was.
Yeah,
ITS.
I mean, we were told, how easy it was going to be to get it flying to Mars in 2020.
So
for
Starship
the 2024
is going to
window.
fly next year. So 2022 is meant to be the Mars cargo flight. So that'll be, when will that be? 2025, 26? And then the crew flights, which is going to be 2024, will be 2030. So I think the entire space industry has just been figured out. It's not 6 months out; it's 6 years out.
Sure, yeah. We'll have to see. Working with that. Robert has one here, which is that Rocket Lab had 0 failures this year with Electron. So coming into itself now. So pretty cool.
Rocket Lab have really just been hitting it out of the park with Electron this year. It's just been the 2 recovery attempts. Yes, they didn't. They caught it on the first time and had to let it go. The second time they couldn't catch it, but they've still recovered them.
Yes,
they've still scooped them out of the ocean, so they have been recovered, just not in the dry recovery that they're aiming for. So it's been a very successful year in terms of launching and recovering Electron.
Yeah, and it's really been great watching them kind of ramp things up as well, and launch a little bit more. So once they start catching the stages and they can refurbish them and things like that, they'll definitely be able to increase that cadence. And I'm sure Peter and the gang will be very, very happy about that, to get that going. So yeah, that was a really fun one this year. Watching all of them work with that. And then we also have this one as well from Harry Stranger, which is that New Shepard had a great year. So Blue Origin had a good flight, and it had a successful in-flight abort, which, I mean, that's always a successful test that you never want to have, but if you do, you want to pass it. And it did. Work great. And the BE-4s have been delivered to ULA, so no more "where are my engines, Jeff" jokes, I suppose.
The meme is happily dead.
Yes, it's dead. So anybody making that meme still, y'all got to get with it. So that's kind of how it goes. So there's some more. We're seeing this in here. I mean, we would talk more about Blue Origin, but they don't talk about themselves. So
that's the problem.
Yep. If you want us to talk about it, so you got to have us. Actually, you got to actually put stuff out there so that we could see it. You got to do a little bit more than just like the occasional corporate pump up 2-minute video every once in a while. You know what I mean? So come on, Blue. If there's one thing you need to get it together on, it's that front. So James actually has a really interesting one here, which is what about the Chinese space station and their lucky deorbiting of the stages?
I mean, in my opinion, I think it's really good to see China actually getting out there with Tiangong. What is it, 3? They just call it the Tiangong space station now, anyways. But it's another permanent. Now they've got all 3 modules up there. It's another permanent place for humans to work up on orbit, and I just think that's really cool. Yes, they have not so great measures to get those modules up into space, and it is reckless to leave the huge core stages of the Long March 5B just floating around to crash into anything. But I think having a competitor's the wrong word, but another station up there alongside the International Space Station is just a really cool thing to see. And then hopefully in the coming years, having Gateway come online at the moon, depending how long the ISS is going for, we'll have 3. Then Axiom Station will be there. And I think by the time Axiom is getting fully operational, then the ISS will slowly be taken offline. But I feel like Tiangong is a good step forwards in the multiple space stations being actually being feasible.
Yeah, and that's pretty exciting to think about that. With all of that happening, we're gonna have to see what's up with that. So, yeah, it's been pretty wild. Actually, Ian McLeod, hopefully I said your name right, Ian. As you know, I'm prolific at getting people's names wrong. Right, Jack? Ian bringing up a really good one here, actually, which is that NASA's budget is now over $25 billion, and the Space Force, the United States Space Force, is $26 billion, meaning the U.S. is now spending over $50 billion per year on space. That's a huge deal, both nationally and geopolitically. So, I mean, that's a thing. Too. I'd say it's mostly, I mean, I think the spending was kind of already there. It was just Air Force. But now they have like their own bit. But I mean, like, yeah, sure. You know, it sounds good. So yeah, we're spending a lot of money on space, it turns out, with things like that. So, I'm trying to find, where somebody had a really good one, in here, but I missed it somewhere. Oh yeah. Marty also talking about Orbital Reef from Blue Origin.
Yeah, that's another private station that will be coming online, which I completely forgot about. There's so many private stations and different space stations coming online soon that I'm forgetting about them, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a great problem to have with that there. So I quite like these kinds of problems. So, Robert, speaking of problems, Robert talking about one a little earlier in the chat room, saying InSight going to sleep. Not a favorite thing, but a notable space thing that did happen this year. So, yes, indeed, RIP InSight. Pour one out for the homie with it there. So, yeah, goodbye InSight. We'll miss you. So once again, just letting you all know, we're kind of having a little conversational show tonight where we want to be talking, me and Ryan want to be talking with y'all tonight about the awesome space things that happened in 2022. Jump in that YouTube chat room and tell us what were some of your favorite things that happened in space this year. So, because there was a lot that went down with it, and just to kind of get into it here, because whoa boy, were a lot of people talking about this. Aravale kicking it off earlier in the show, which is and DART, yeah, and Nick, DART was fun, so yes, it was really cool. Somebody on here was talking about that they. Oh yeah, here it is from James. The impact that the DART mission had was fantastic, and coverage to the last few seconds was amazing. And Robert also talking about, the fact that we got live views from DART. That was indeed unbelievably cool.
And the final image, which was just a little strip of asteroid, which we could see, and it was just red. We were like, yep, It's work.
Yeah, that sure did it. Adam actually, I feel like, has a really good point here, which is that for humanity as a species, DART is the biggest deal, is it not? Asteroid redirection and knocking things away is a pretty big deal. So I guess to kind of piggyback on that, like what I talked about last week with the Near Earth Object Surveyor mission finally getting the approval to go forward, that was so much fun. That's so good that they're getting ready to do that. I'm very, very excited for that. And yeah, RFAL as well. Watching the DART impact live with the principal investigator on NASA spaceflight was amazing. And absolutely, that pretty much describes how NASA spaceflight covers stuff, which is absolutely amazing. So, also, the best part about DART was that it worked. So, and it worked better than we expected. And the thing about it is that hitting Didymoon, because I'm never going to call it what it actually is called, because it's ridiculous, and Didymoon is far superior to what it actually is called.
There's no argument here. Didymoon is the best name, and it should be the only name.
Yep. I'm never calling it what they actually named it. Well, actually, you know what? When they make Pluto a planet again, I'll call it what they named it. That was... Oh boy, that was petty. But the best kind of petty. Where was I was going to talk about something. Oh yes. Didymoon, being a rubble pile, an absolute worst case kind of thing to impact, and still doing it. Very, very good. Oh no, look at what I've done now in the chat room. Harry's saying we should rename Pluto to Diddy Planet. I don't have a problem with that. Not gonna get it away from me. Oh yeah, Adam had a really good one here, which is that there was a new observatory that predicted a meteor impact in Canada, and sort of along the same lines as DART. That was really cool, and yes, that was so awesome to hear about that. That they, a couple hours before it hit, they actually picked it up before it was gonna, do a smack. That was really, really cool. Yeah, that was, as Kylie correctly points out, Bruce Willis can finally retire. So, yes, he can do that. And, Marty, I'm okay with that. Tom Petty is the best Petty. Robert's got one, which is the red team being sent in for the Space Launch System launch.
That was just absolutely insane.
How?
So... in the final, from about T-minus 8 hours, what was it? It would have been like L-minus 11, 10 hours, something like that. I went to bed for a quick nap, and they were like, before I went to sleep, they were like, we're proceeding fine, and it's everything. And then I wake up to the red team being sent out to the pad. It's the most insane thing ever, because I don't think I've ever seen a launch, and that's happened for any rocket, any company, any organization at all. And you wake up for the biggest launch of the year, and the red team is being sent out to the pad. It's just insane. Yeah,
and to think that we could not recall another time that's happened except for Apollo 11. So,
yeah,
right?
It's such a rare occasion, and the fact that SOS actually launched after they sent out the red team was just it was the craziest launch day.
Could you imagine being one of those three people and just watching SLS go and just thinking to yourself,
I wouldn't have been fixing the problem. I would have been taking selfies in front, hey everyone, I'm in front of SLS and it's fully fueled.
Oh man. That is just the absolute wildest thing. I don't know if I would be able to work a wrench correctly, because I would just be shaking so much with it. I just feel nervous even thinking about walking up to a fully fueled rocket like that. But yeah, boy, that would have been.
And I think Robert has got this really right here, which is balls of steel. Those guys must have.
Yeah, we're gonna need an SLS for him. With that, RFAL saying very Very good. More organizations need a red team. Cable out, send in the red team. Computer frozen, send in the red team. Uber Eats delivery arriving late, send in the red team. With that there. So, yeah. I agree. I can't help but agree with that as well.
Yeah.
So, very, very cool. James, bringing it back to J-Dub here a little bit. J-Dub spotting those galaxies how far back in time with redshift? I still can't get my head around it all. Yeah, I don't blame you. I deal with this stuff every day, and I'm still blown away by the fact that we're looking at galaxies that are about 350 million years old. So, which is infancy for the universe. Like, I mean, we're talking like maybe the first population of stars, maybe. So, it's amazing. That's just I'm blown away with that. So, you guys are just still, chat room's still talking about the red team with it there. But I mean, I don't blame them. That was a big deal. Maybe you get the red team and red shift to mix together. So you get the red shift team or the red team shift, whichever works.
Well, you can't send out the red team to J-Dub because it's not serviceable.
Yes, that's correct. So very good point, Ryan. And boy, have we talked about that on this show plenty of times with it. So yeah. So once again, everybody, if you've got a really cool space moment to kind of talk about, throw it in the chat room. We're trying to grab as many as we can of your things here. Here's one for you, Ryan. Look at this.
Oh yeah, Return of Falcon Heavy. That was fun.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to see more than an Falcon Heavy, but at least we got one in there. At least it wasn't another heavy-less year like 2020 and 2021.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so sad with that. So, yeah. And I know that you were so psyched about going to see Psyche, but you know. Yeah.
Let's just move on.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Robert's saying Delta Heavy's last flight. Still two more on the books, but Delta Heavy's last flight from Vandenberg, most certainly. Certainly with that. JTTV saying I'm late, but have you mentioned helicopters on Mars? Yeah, Ingenuity is still going. What in the heck?
It's just the longevity that thing has. When JPL gives it, I don't know how many flights did they give it? It's like 1, 2, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to get 5 flights, so 5 was the warranty on it.
20 plus. The last time I checked, it was over 20. So, and that was a long time ago because they've been flying that thing like crazy, and I just can't keep track of it.
Yeah, Larry King says 37 flights so far. Yeah, and I know that they were that they're using it now for science as well to figure out where to drive Percy. Also, those images it took earlier this year of the back shell and the parachute on the surface of Mars, those were amazing. So, and
cool.
I could tell you one thing: the engineers at JPL were probably running up the wall and on the ceiling and around once those photos came back, because that is the kind of stuff
using the JPL zero gravity machine.
I'm telling you, that's the kind of stuff that as an engineer, like, you dream about seeing that kind of stuff with it there. So hold on, I'm trying to get this right. James Atkinson saying, how many drones on Earth don't fly that many times? Most of them.
I can tell you that I didn't fly my drone that many times, because by the time I got to about flight 5, I crashed it.
That seems to be the way it goes. Then Rick here making most RC helicopters don't last 37 flights on Earth. So, oh my gosh, man, it's amazing stuff. Every time I see like a video of RC airplanes or helicopters, it's always them like taking off and then crashing within seconds. And I just think to myself, that is absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Oh, as Adam makes a very good point, that's because there's no trees on Mars.
Well, my drone went into a wall, and there's also no walls on Mars, so I think I'd be a good drone flyer on Mars.
Yeah, I think you would. I think you'd do fantastic over there. Also, Robert getting a good one here, which is that Percy did a poop on Mars for the Mars sample return. Yes, it did. It's taken 2 poops now. It just did its second poop a couple days ago. So,
The most way to put it.
Also, JTTV saying Mars sample return is going to be based on Ingenuity, which is true. They're very much working with it. I like that element saying Percy dropping lightsabers. And then John Hart saying,
Hart has a good one.
Hold on. John Hart says, did it poop or lay an egg? Oh my gosh, Arval. Poor Percy had to hold it in for over a year.
Poor person.
Why is our chat room so brilliant? I don't know what it is. So, Adam, Adam here, which is saying, how about the United States Congress saying, hey, 2 lunar landers are better than 1, which is true. Now they're, they are. Good times, right?
Robert has an epic comment. It's only an egg if a little robot contacts with the tube.
from that region of France. So, where was it at? I saw it. This was one, obviously, because of events geopolitical events and other things, that happened this year, which is another memorable 2022 space event. Dmitry Rogozin sacked as the boss of Russia's space agency, Roscosmos. So, and as Alice Cornelius, you're pointing out, not only did Congress say, let's do 2 lunar landers, they also had no funding for the second one. It's just like, good luck. So, by the way, we'll see you in 4 years, and if we don't have it with no money, you're in trouble. So, oh man, they're just a bunch of smarties in that building, right? So you can smell the smoke as the gears turn. Here's one from James. OneWeb launching with SpaceX. Yeah, so in a sense,
competitor flies on the other one.
Yeah, JTTV saying OneWeb on SpaceX in Israel.
Space, the ultimate place for collaboration.
OneWeb launching with SpaceX was one of those after effects of the geopolitical events, was it? Yes. Russia's loss was SpaceX's gain. Absolutely. Yeah. And in fact, Russia's loss is still continuing SpaceX's gain with that, because OneWeb signed quite a few, if I recall correctly, with them. So that was really cool. It was literally one of those moments of like hell freezes over, I guess is how I would describe OneWeb going to SpaceX and launched them. But I think what was really cool about that is exactly what Arvale is saying here, which is team space in real IRL in real life, which is that obviously SpaceX recognizes that they're a launch company, and if you're a launch company, you make money launching things, right? So they went ahead and they launched.
SpaceX will make a lot more money launching OneWeb satellites than launching Starlink satellites, because to launch Starlink satellites, they're not going to pay themselves.
Yeah, that's true. So that is a way to put it, Ryan. With that there, don't post that on the internet. You'll get into so much trouble. Oh, yes, Marty, I'm very sorry. I saw this earlier in the show and I completely forgot about it. Watching Dream Chaser take shape. Yes!
The best baby shuttle.
Yes. Little baby shuttle. I'm so excited to see it. The HL-20 finally has its day. I'm so excited. But yeah, I'm super excited about that. JTTV saying it may have been a fever dream, but I think Firefly launched. They did. Harry Stranger saying Firefly made it mostly to orbit, which was cool. No, they made it to orbit. And I will fight
they made it
people.
To orbit. Maybe only for 7 days, but they made it to orbit.
You know, all I've got to say is that they look. You know, Yuri Gagarin went around the world once, and he was the first person to orbit the Earth. So it counts. So with it there. So I see that, Adam, but we're not gonna. That's not the kind of stuff we talk about on the show. I read about it. I heard it was a lot worse than that. But we will. Yeah. Well, yeah, I got you, Adam, but we got it. John is
Hart
asking.
has a good point here. Was Astra's drift last year?
Yes.
I think so. It was. Yes, I'm trying to remember correctly.
Yeah.
But I'm also. I'm just going to mention about Astra's wonderful year that they've had, not with the unsuccessful cadence that they would not have wanted, and them turning around to NASA and saying, yep, we're going to switch to Rocket 4 now. Your Tropics missions, they're going to be launching on Rocket 4. And NASA's like, we didn't sign up for this. And then NASA signs a contract with Rocket Lab to put Tropics on Electron. And it's just absolutely incredible. Astra just has the audacity to turn around to NASA, who've been around since the dawn of space exploration, and they're just like, yep, we're switching rockets, you didn't sign for it, but we're going to do it anyways. And then NASA turned around and be like, no, we're going to put them on Rocket Lab.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, that's like you're moving, like your friend has asked you to come move some stuff for him, and you're driving you're driving their car for them, and you crash it. And you go, don't worry about it. Like, don't worry. I'll go get you a new car right now, but I just need you to pay for it.
Yeah.
Astra, what are you doing? And as Robert pointed out.
And then they crash the new car, and they say, well, we'll get you a different model of car, and I promise it'll be better.
Okay, but we'll build it our own this time. Yeah. Yeah, good times. Also Atomic J pointing out Vega C failing on its first operational mission. Vega's they've been really having a lot of problems with that launch vehicle, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was disappointing to see because the maiden flight went so well. It did its job perfectly, basically. So, yeah, Vega C is now with Soyuz out of French Guyana. It's ESA's only option, really, to get anything of a small payload to space without flying in on someone else's rocket. And considering that they've been pretty adamant on wanting more independence in the space industry, especially with the announcement of Suzy, which was awesome. Hopefully that'll be flying humans on Ariane 6 at some point in the future. But yeah, Vega C really needs to... I hope that this failure in the first operational mission will be a fluke for Vega C, because Vega C needs to be successful to be the viable replacement option for Soyuz that it's been advertised to be.
Yeah, so, come on, guys, get it together. Adam's got a good one here, which is Rocket Lab announced the first private interplanetary mission going to Venus. How freaking cool is that? Well, I gotta say, it's actually pretty hot. But, it's still pretty cool. So there's your dad joke for the episode. JTTV asking Lucy. I think Lucy was last year, but I do want to say that there was a lot of work done with Lucy this year on its poorly deployed solar array, I guess is how I'm going to phrase it. But so they've done some work to try to help get that together. I actually haven't read whether they've fully fixed it or not. But it was also one of those things where they were still generating 95% of the expected solar power that Lucy needs with it. So
they had enough power. It was just a completion issue.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Spacecraft design, you always try to have a little bit more than you can. Loopy. Yeah, basically, this is sort of what I heard. They fixed it good enough last I heard. So, with that there. Also, Robert, yes, I feel like we do have to talk about that, which is that Soyuz sprung a leak. Soyuz MS-22. Still don't know what Roscosmos is going to do, but I believe there was a little news on that today, Ryan, right?
Was there? I haven't seen anything.
I'm sorry.
Last thing I heard, MS... I
I
heard
didn't mean
that
to
MS-23.
smash you like that, Ryan. I'm sorry.
So you can update me. The last thing I heard a few days ago was MS-23, which was scheduled for next March, was able to be brought forward to February if MS-22 was deemed not viable for returning the crew to Earth.
Yes. And Michael Friedman is asking, are they going to launch a spare Soyuz about that? And actually, Robert is bringing up what I was going to do today, or what I was going to say, which is something that just came up today from space. I saw on Space Policy Online, which was that NASA is now looking into all 7 coming back in Dragon. But also Robert very correctly pointing out that at the moment they do not have the suits in the seats for the others. Oh boy, the chat room's got some jokes tonight, which is Johnny G saying maybe they used the same Soyuz with a hole drilled in it, and Arvale saying they haven't blamed a NASA astronaut yet, so progress. So yeah, boy, y'all are being snarky. I just would like to point out that was your snark tonight, not my snark or Ryan's snark or Jamie's or Dada's snark tonight. So just reminding you all of that was not me who said it. That was you.
Harry Stranger. Harry Stranger has a great point here. It's the Soyuz and not progress.
Oh my gosh, Arvale, I love this. Everyone can just hold on to the bars and Dragon like on the bench. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, John's asking where's the replacement trampoline. I don't know if I would want to land on a trampoline. John, did the ISS spin this year or last year? That was last year. So yeah, fun times.
Loopy asking, could you just bolt seats into the next cargo Dragon? And I mean, physically, you probably could, but theoretically, no, that would be theoretically, but in reality, no. Cargo Dragon is they'll want to put crew on a crew Dragon,
yeah,
because it's designed for that.
Yeah, Robert's got a really good question here, which is, has anyone ever come from orbit without a IVA or intravehicular activity suit on? Yeah, Soyuz 11 is one I can think of right off the top of my head. That didn't go so well.
Nope.
Also Shuttle, technically, I think it was after, when did they stop using when did they get rid of the ejection seats on Shuttle? Because that's when they started wearing basically the flight suits.
I think STS, I think 1, 2, 3, and 4 had them. I think they were removed for 5, if I'm remembering correctly, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but basically from that up until 51L with Challenger, with its accident, yeah, they were wearing basically flight suits. So yeah, that's kind of how it goes. So, man, yeah, it's a fun one to think about. Larry King pointing out very good here on the Metro. Watch the closing hatch. So, and Robert here saying, I know a shuttle astronaut stood up for a reentry, and yes, that was my favorite, my absolute favorite astronaut. Which, Ryan, do you remember who that is? Because I think I said his name last week.
That was Musgrave, if I remember correctly.
Boom, Story Musgrave. Yep, and look at that. That's the chat room is just lighting up with everybody who knows what my favorite astronaut is. Story Musgrave. Yeah, he was just amazing. And yes, as he puts it, he's the only person that's ever seen reentry plasma directly with his own eyes. So that is that is so wild to think about it. Yeah, and Aravail very clearly knows about Story because I had no idea it was him, but I was about to guess. Yeah, it is a very Story Musgrave thing to do. One day I will tell you the wonderful evening that I had that involved Story. I think the statute of limitations have not been met yet, but we'll talk about it. And Walter's got a really good point here, talking about Crew Dragon, which is there's at least one extra seat.
Well,
in the toilet.
Crew Dragon doesn't technically have a toilet seat, unlike the ISS, which does have a kind of seat area. Dragon is just kind of a tube, so that would be quite difficult to sit on for re-entry when you've got all those G forces.
How many G's does Crew Dragon pull coming back?
Well, as I've never re-entered in a Crew Dragon, I don't know.
Well, somebody in the chat room
somewhere.
Somebody in the chat room
Someone
knows.
should know.
Zapfan asking, do we not number 2 in the Dragon?
You just get a bigger tube.
Yeah.
Harry thinks 5. Robert thinks 3 to 4. James is asking where
Alex
is.
and I
agree. Don't know.
Where are you, Alex?
Adam says 4 or 5, I think.
Maybe if we say Alex's name. Alex.
Adam says the wiki says 4.
Okay, cool. Nice. Well, there you go. That settles it. If whatever it's on Wikipedia, it has to be true. Paul. Yeah, I'll push it. We already talked about a Mars rover pooping on Mars, so might as well, right? There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome. I'm so glad that we could, get this to you. This is we show you things like this because we have nothing but the utmost respect for our audience. With it, JTTV, very good one, which is Tim's going to the moon, which is very true. That's absolutely right. Robert, shuttle, and then someone from NASA spaceflight will appear. That's very true as well. We'll have to see who instantly or who will appear in a matter of seconds from what's there with it. And then, of course, I think we should definitely talk about the big one that everybody, very clearly everybody wants to talk about this, which is the fact that, holy moly, okay, I'm looking for where it is, and it would appear that all of the ones I pushed have not actually ended up in here, but that's okay, because so many of you were clamoring for this, which is how many SpaceX records can you name? Can you name that SpaceX hit? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was, 61 is that final count for this year, right? 61?
That's a big number. That's more than the number of weeks in the year, which means that SpaceX averaged more than 1 launch per week, which is just, compared to, they pretty much nearly doubled their cadence from last year. And I hope they don't double it again, because I only have so many hours in the day. I've got to get other things done. I want to watch as many launches as possible, but if it's basically going to become a daily primetime TV show, these SpaceX launches, because they're getting them done. They're getting them out the door so quickly. It's just insane. And then the triple headers, one launch after the next over 3 days. 2 launches in the same day from different coasts. I mean, the cadence that SpaceX has multiple times this year is just absolutely insane.
Yeah, that is unbelievable, and I absolutely say hats off to everybody who works at SpaceX and made that happen this year. That is not an easy thing to do by any measure, and oh my gosh. Wow, 61. As Stephen Thompson is saying, it's about every 6 days. And that's just for, with that. Robert is saying, I predict 120 Falcon 9 launches and landings in 2023. Well, folks, let's write that down. Robert, we'll hold you to it. We should get like a big tomorrow bets spreadsheet and have it ready to go. So Robert, get Robert on there for 120. We'll mark you down for that, Robert. And a good point here from Johnny. So China did have more launches.
I would point at Johnny's point that China, all of the launches out of China, the majority of which came from like government organizations. However, there are also some private companies out of China doing some launches, which means that I don't think that China as a nation, well, China as like the Chinese government would have done the number of launches that SpaceX have done, but all of the launches originating from China combined, that beats SpaceX. That would be my assumption. I think it would be close, but if you add all of the launches from the US together, then that wouldn't. That's the kind of thing I'm trying to make the point out of here.
Yeah, and also I kind of want to throw this as well from the chat, which is that a whole bunch of people are saying 61 launches and all of those rockets landed. JTTV 100% on the landings. Yeah, amazing. And Stephen Thompson actually making a really good point here, which is that SpaceX is going to be essentially limited by the turnaround at their launch pads. That is just unbelievable to think about that. And Atomic J bringing up a good one, which is that they actually have a pretty big backlog of launches from Vandenberg, and I'll try to make it to as many of those as I can.
You should just move to Lompoc at this point because the amount of launches SpaceX are going to be doing out of Vandenberg, it's just easier to. It will be easier for you to live there to see the SpaceX launches and commute down to Griffith than living in LA and commuting up to Vandenberg.
Yeah, well, the drive may actually take the same amount of time, honestly. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Here comes the chat room. We're never going to see Jamie again. JTTV bringing up a good one, which is 0 Starship launches. Yep, that's right. Somebody earlier brought up SN15 landing, so that was pretty cool. Gotta admit, that was nice. Was that this year?
No, there have been no launches this year.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So, anyways, SN15 landing was still cool. I guess I don't know. Starship is one of those things.
Summer.
Starship just feels so. I know it's physical. I know it's real, but it just feels so nebulous because it feels like every week there's a different change to the design, and it just, yeah, takes a while. Seki asking, do we have a better recipe for the concrete yet? Yeah. Oh wow, people are just ripping into SpaceX. Record road closings. My gosh. So Adam Baker, one boom and one boom only. Yeah, R. Vale saying SN15 was May 2021. Time is an illusion. Very, very nice. Marty saying, isn't Lompoc the home of Roger Ramjet? I have no idea. I don't even know what Roger Ramjet is, Marty. Yeah, I don't know. Lompoc is great to be in for a couple of hours waiting for a rocket launch. I don't know if I'd want to live there unless I had like a job at Vandenberg or something. Oh, look at this one from Loopy.
The best solution for blowing up concrete is to make a flame diverter like everyone else.
Oh yeah, Robert's got a good one, which is, didn't they crush the downpipe in Super Heavy?
47 has been through so much this year, and yet it's still apparently poised to be the orbital flight test booster. I mean, it's just been so much stuff has happened to booster number 7. It's had to be fixed and fixed again, and it's just been through absolute hell and back. But hopefully, it does do a successful job of sending S-24 on its way to the orbital kind of one orbit flight to Hawaii.
Yeah, and lest we forget, they did blow up the orbital launch mount a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Booster 7 yet again.
that was interesting, though. It definitely did it. So
I mean, at least the launch pad still works. It was still standing. Not ideal, but it was still standing.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to say it. Harry said it. I'm just throwing that out there. Harry said it, not me. So yeah, actually, I like this one, anti-charger, which is the number of tank watchers that we have. SpaceX could be selling advertising space on various boosters awaiting testing. Maybe a nice advert for Amazon Prime on the side right there. So yeah, pretty good with that there. I mean, they put Pizza Hut. Didn't Pizza Hut pay to put a logo on the side of the launch of Zarya on the Proton rocket? I think so, back in the 90s. I want to say they did.
Pizza Hut have sponsored rockets, so I don't know, will we be seeing SpaceX getting Pizza Hut sponsorships, any other kind of sponsorships?
Walter. Oh, we're getting mean. We're getting very mean. Oh no, Loopy, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I had just seen that. And I don't know if I want to pull that up or not. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up. So 2022 is the year of Tesla Fit and finish on Starship TPS. Yeah, I saw that photo the other day, and wow, what a jumble. So also James Atkinson. How many GoPros have been to space this year? Guessing they might be hitting records. Yep. Boy, were we all blown away to find out that those amazing images and that awesome video you're getting back from Artemis I is GoPros, albeit highly modified GoPros. Carlos, I didn't know this, which is the DoubleTree by Hilton, sponsored a cookie baking experiment on the International Space Station. Very, very cool. Also, JTTV, a really good one. I think I missed the launch, but the inflatable heat shield, yes. Yeah, we finally tested an inflatable heat shield from orbital velocity, and it works.
And it worked. It's Kerbal Space Program come to life.
Yeah, I got to watch. I was there. I saw it leave the Earth. So it was pretty cool. Also, Last Atlas from Vandenberg as well. We wrapped up Delta and Atlas at Vandenberg this year. So yeah. Yeah. Thanks for reminding us, James. Thanks for reminding us. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for reminding us. I appreciate that. James, I'm just going to say this right here. James, thank you so much for reminding myself and Ryan about the fact that we did something very stupid in our members-only stream, like midsummer, showing off a Top Gear episode where they built their space shuttle, and the BBC detected it and came in and said, stop. So... Stephen Thompson bringing it up. Yep, the moon is so hot right now. All the moon missions, Capstone, the Korean one, Denuri, and the Japanese lander coming up about that. Thanks everybody. I appreciate the copyright strike. So yeah, thanks for that. Adam, actually, I didn't mean to click that one, but inflatable habitats are being tested too. Yeah, we've got Beam still up on the ISS doing its work. Also, Sophia retired. Yep, pour one out for our pour one out for it. So
the poor 747 SP.
Yeah,
the coolest 747.
Yep, we're very very sad to see it go. And James is saying, Seki is saying, J-Dub. But I mean, you know, we did talk about that earlier in the program. So if you did miss it, we talked about it. Yeah. This is a good one. What did Jamie say about the copyright incident? Well, I could tell you in person, she rolled her eyes. Roll their eyes like. But yeah, also don't do that again. Everybody's saying don't forget about DART. We talked about DART. The Nyoka flip was last year. Aravail bringing up a good one. Sagittarius A-star, seeing our own black hole in the center of our own galaxy. That is true. So it was really cool. I greatly enjoyed seeing that. So, yeah. Adam is bringing up a really good point about the inflatable ones, which is because Sierra Nevada blew 2 this year. So for their life module. So that was pretty cool. Everybody keeps bringing up J-Dub. We did talk. I want to assure you, we did talk in detail about J-Dub and some of its discoveries. So don't worry, everybody. We got you. We got the inflatable heat shields. We got the other stuff. And, don't worry. What do you got? What do you got? Chat room. Let's do like a lightning round here. JTTV.
Final wrap up.
Yeah, final wrap up. We'll do this for like a minute or two. Just give us your goods. So JTTV saying spin launch showed off some things. Yeah, very, very true. I'm very excited about spin launch. Honestly, I feel like that. If you ask me, I feel like that's the next big thing because it's not necessarily about launching stuff from here on Earth. It's doing that from like the moon and other places in a vacuum, and that's important. Loopy, here we go, everybody. Station getting new solar panels. Yep, we are doing that. James Atkinson. Civilians did fly to the International Space Station this year with that. So, Tinman, did we mention Firefly making orbit? We did. Harry throwing that on there. Axiom had their first crewed flight. Adam saying spin launch is actually really cool. It's going to be neat on the moon. Very, very true. I'm very excited about that. Atomic J is talking about Blue Walker 3, the SATCOM in low Earth orbit. I hate it. Don't worry. As an astronomer, I hate it too. First confirmed Marsquake, both by Insight and MRO, and I think you're talking about the first confirmed. Because we had done Marsquakes well before this year, but I think you're talking about the first confirmed meteorite impact that we detected in real time there. Oh my gosh, we completely forgot about this, Robert. Polaris with it. Yeah, the Polaris program. That's so exciting.
Now.
What's up?
It exists. It's going to be happening soon.
Yeah. Super, super excited about that. I definitely hope that they do go through with Hubble and make that happen. And if Jared Isaacman does it for free, he could do whatever he wants, as far as I'm concerned. Stephen Thompson here. We did finally mark over 5,000 exoplanets. With that, here's one from Harry Stranger, which just came up a couple days ago because Aerojet has Aerojet Rocketdyne, or were they just Aerojet at that point? I don't know. They got bought by L3 Harris.
The aerospace company mergers in the US. I think eventually everyone is going to become the same company. It's going to be like Aerojet, L3 Harris, Rocketdyne, Boeing, Martin, Lockheed, Grumman, Northrop, McDonnell, Douglas. All of the companies are just going to become the same company.
We had figured one out a very long time ago. That was like a borderline tasteless acronym. I can't remember what it was, but we had figured it out, and it was really funny.
It's all just gonna be Northrop Grumman.
Very, very nice. Oh yeah, this one, Harry, or Boris, I guess. I don't know what that means, James, but I accidentally hit it, so there you go. Harry, bringing up a good one. Firefly is going to make the first stage for the new Antares, so I'm very excited. Everyone becomes Northrop Grumman. You either live long enough to see yourself become Northrop Grumman, or you how's it go? Anyways, and I think really to kind of, since everybody's since everybody's kind of repeating things that we talked about earlier in the show, I think a really good one, just to wrap up with, to find a final one would be Robert's, which is the pics from Orion around the moon. And I got to say, yeah, if there was anything, Ryan, what would you say was your biggest story of the year? What do you feel was the biggest one?
Well, apart from Artemis, I think I'm probably gonna have to go with. I know this is going to be probably a bit boring, but I'm going to have to go with the development progress of Starship.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's been moving forward, and it's been out in public view. So yeah, it's one of those things where we really do get to watch every little bit.
We haven't seen any launches, but Starship now is very far from what it was a year ago. We've seen the refinement of the vehicle, the refinement of management structures around Starbase. It just seems like the program, especially with the environmental assessment updates for Starbase, it feels like the program is now starting to actually get moving in the right direction. It's no longer just throwing random ideas to see if it sticks.
Yeah, very, 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 very cool with it. So I'm hoping that they make a good amount of progress coming up in 2023. Wish them the best of luck flying those things, flying the Starships. And there's a lot of people, Johnny Cheese, I don't know if I'm going to, why not? We've already talked about... We already talked about a Mars rover pooping on Mars, so why not just throw that out right there? So I'm sure somebody thought about that at NASA HQ and was like, no. So anyways, we did that just for you because we love you. Yeah, I think mine for this year, probably very obvious, which is J-Dub becoming operational and just taking off. I'm just so excited for it. First image already beat Hubble. Beat Hubble in its first image.
Yeah.
It's just gonna.
There's nothing else to say.
It's just going to be amazing. I cannot wait for the discoveries we're going to get from that. And I absolutely love the fact that they've already taken the expansion rate things, all the data for that to look at it. And the initial data from JW is not matching Hubble, which Hubble didn't match another mission called WMAP, which measured that as well. So now we have 3 completely different data sets that don't match. Good times. Stupid universe. So, to wrap up this show, I just want to remind everyone, if you'd like to become a member, you can go to youtube.com/TMRO/join. You can join us in the members only stream, which is going to be coming up as soon as we thank our current members. And of course, we have to start off with NeuroStream, our awesome Tomorrow Model 33 Plaid Pro Plus member. And I got to tell you, it was pretty amazing how we came up with this in a members only stream, and we did it just for funsies. And NeuroStream came in and made it happen. So thank you so much, NeuroStream, for reaching out. We also have our Escape Velocity members. These folks actually get access to the Escape Velocity channel in our Discord, and they get to see all the bad jokes that we make, all the coordinating, all the fretting and hair pulling that sometimes happens to minutes, within minutes of the show starting. So yeah, it's pretty wild. We also have our Orbital members as well. And of course, if you do want to help us out at Tomorrow, you can head on over to youtube.com/TMRO/join. And it's literally as little as what, Ryan? What's the smallest you can give?
I can't remember. I think it's 99 cents a month.
Don't tell me I put you on the spot again.
I can't remember if it's 99p or 79p in the UK. It's a number less than 1 in most currencies that are close to the US dollar.
Yes, and Ryan, I just want to say you have been insmolinated, not of my own doing.
This is the Washington bandwidth for you. This is the bandwidth that your president has to deal with. So
Yes, NeuroStream, thank you so much. We appreciate all that you do to help us out here. And of course, Marty, Happy New Year, everyone. And of course, we want to wish a Happy New Year to all of you as well. Thank you so much. We hope that you had a fantastic 2022. We'll see you in 2023. I won't be here next week, or at least I'm confident I'm not going to be here next week. Ryan, I think you're going to be here.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Who else decides to show up?
Yeah, we'll have to. We'll have to do it. Honestly, I feel like wrapping up our last public show with you, just the bandwidth going wild. I think that this is correct with it. So as people are saying, you're just simulating NASA's old broadcast standards before they hit 4K this year. So thank you all so much. We're going to head on over to our members stream now. So see you all there. Everybody have a great new year. I'll see you in 2023. How's that sound? So bye, everybody.